The fourth tactic that the enemy uses is relationships. The enemy uses relationships to tempt you. You see, Eve saw that the apple looked good, it was pleasing to the eye, it looked good for gaining knowledge, and she took a bite. But do you know what the very next thing is that she did? The very next thing, after Eve took a bite, the very next thing that Eve does in verse 6, it says, she also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. The enemy uses relationships to attack you. Who you're spending your time with. Who is it that you're spending time with because it matters? If you've heard me say it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Who you spend your life with matters. Who your inner circle is, who you spend the majority of your life with, it matters. It's really simple. People who pull you away from the things of God, or do you spend time with people who push you towards the things of God? Which is it? Who you surround yourself with. It matters, and it makes a difference in your life. Now, I want to say this, that if you're married to and have a spouse that is not serving the Lord, I'm in no way saying you should divorce them. That's not what I'm saying. Well, what I am saying is you should do what Paul says in Ephesians and put on the armor of God so that you're ready. Put on the armor of God, like the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation. Like, you need to have the armor of God on. But this is the other thing that you need to know. And this is not just if you have a spouse that... Whoa. Was that me? Oh. I'll stay here. So, now I lost my spot. Who you spend your life with, whoa. And this is what you need to know when it comes to relationships. Whether it's a spouse, whether it's a friend, whether it's a son or daughter or a mom or a dad, aunt, uncle, whatever it is, you need to know they're not the enemy. They're not the enemy. Paul says in Ephesians 6, chapter 12, when he's talking about the armor of God, he says this, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood." It's not against flesh and blood. It's not against those who aren't serving God. It's not against your spouse or your friend or your mom or your dad or coworker or neighbor, whatever, whoever it is that you might have in your life that doesn't know Christ. They are not the enemy. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. That is who our battle is against. And so that's why we need the armor of God. That's why we need the breastplate of righteousness. That's why we need the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit. We need these in our lives because struggle is not against flesh and blood. So we need to remember that because when I say that you need to, who you spend your time with, that it matters, yes, you need to be spending the majority of your time with believers, with people who are pushing you towards the things of God. But not all of your time, because we're also called to be a light of the world. And if you're not spending any time in darkness, then how can you be light in the darkness? So I'm not saying you never spend any time with unbelievers. That's not what I'm saying, because that is completely contradicts what the Bible says. We are to be the salt and light of the earth. So we need to have relationships with people who don't know Christ, but we shouldn't be spending the vast majority of our time with them, because they will begin to rub off on you. The devil has all these schemes, all these tactics that he uses to try to tempt you.